An uptick in the country's unemployment rate. 8.2 million South Africans don't have jobs. Controversial pastor Timothy Omotoso is a free man and can stay in South Africa for now. Cassandra Ventura, the singer Sean Diddy Combs, was seen kicking and hitting, takes a stand in his trafficking case. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN. In touch, in tune, and independent.
Stage 2, load shedding is back.
This decision follows the delayed return of generation units amounting to 3,120 megawatts, as well as an additional loss of 1,385 megawatts in the past 24 hours due to unplanned breakdowns.
Nigerian pastor Timothy Omotoso is once again a free man. He's been released after appearing in the East London Magistrates Court this afternoon. Omotoso was arrested in immigration-related charges over the weekend.
Timothy Omotoso's lawyers argued that his arrest should be stayed pending the outcome of his deportation challenge. However, today the East London Magistrates Court has ruled that he cannot be detained for more than 48 hours without being charged, as per Section 34 of the Immigration Act. Shortly after learning that their pastor is a free man, his supporters could not contain their excitement. This caused a scuffle between supporters from both sides, and at some point, water bottles were thrown at the church members. Members of the Public Order Police, however, managed to get the crowd under control. Omotoso's next step will be determined by the outcomes of his application for a review of the deportation order. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, East London.
And the National Prosecuting Authority will appeal the not guilty verdict in Omotoso's trafficking and sexual assault case. The pastor and his 2 co-accused were acquitted on a technicality last month. South Africa's unemployment rate increased to 32.9% in the first quarter of the year. This means close to 300,000 jobs were lost, and the number of unemployed people rose to 8.2 million in the period between January and March.
The Western Cape gained 49,000 jobs, followed by Gauteng, 9,000 jobs, the Free State, 4,000 jobs.
Despite claiming he was coerced into taking the blame for the Usundiso building fire, the alleged arsonist apologized to all those affected by the blaze in his confession statement. Stembiso Mdlaloze, who's facing murder and arson charges in connection with the fire that killed 76 people, is standing trial at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. Magistrate Peter Du Plessis, who's also a state witness, read out his confession statement.
I know it will not bring the deceased back, but it will give me some solace to apologize, find peace in my heart, and lift the burden as it weighs heavy on me.
This is the same confession Mdlaloze tried to retract in court, claiming he was not in sober mind when admitting to the crime. A group of women farm workers has been marching in the Cape Town CBD. They're protesting unfair labour practices at commercial farms in the Western Cape and accuse the Labour and Employment Department of ignoring it. Women on Farms project convener Daniel Samuel says that most workers are also falling ill due to pesticide exposure.
Season after season. Why? For our own money, we must beg you to give our own money to us. We are tired. And every year, every season, we make the same excuses, the same promises. But so we do nothing about it.
So we've all witnessed Sean Diddy Combs kicking his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura on the floor and caught on a hotel camera. Today, the singer, Ventura, takes a stand. Her testimony is core to the federal sex trafficking and racketing trial. Yesterday, New York jurors heard how the 55-year-old music mogul used violence and threats of reputational ruin to control women he abused for years. Combs has pleaded not guilty on all counts, including the racketeering charge that the hip-hop pioneer led a sex crime ring that included drug-fueled sex parties by use of force, threats and violence. Prosecutor Emily Johnson alleges Combs also set a man's car ablaze and dangled a woman from a balcony. US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau says the 49 Afrikaner refugees they accepted into the country yesterday have shared harrowing stories of the violence they faced in South Africa. Upon landing at Washington's Dulles Airport, the group, which comprised several young children, were handed American flags and greeted by officials in a hangar. While none of them spoke to the media, Landau, accompanied by Deputy Secretary of Homeland Secretary Troy Edgar, Landau explained why the US had made the exception to accept them as refugees when the Trump administration had halted refugee programs for all other nationalities. He claimed the group had faced what he termed, quote, egregious and targeted threats of violence against them in South Africa.
A fair number of these refugees were farmers who've farmed this particular land for generations and now face the threat not only of expropriation, but also of direct violence. We had a chance to speak to them about many of these folks have experience with threatening invasions of their homes, their farms, and a real lack of interest or success of the government in doing anything about this situation.
Donald Trump enjoyed a lavish royal welcome in Saudi Arabia on the first state visit of his second term, with the US president foremost focused on business deals at the start of a Gulf tour. A lengthy procession of Saudi royalty and business figures waited their turn to shake hands with Trump and Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who stood by his side. Trump will address an investment forum in Riyadh and later in the week head to Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. In choosing the Gulf, the 78-year-old billionaire is again bypassing traditional first presidential stops in Western allies, some of which have been unnerved by his norms-shattering diplomacy. And the South African under-20 men's national team has secured a ticket to the under-20 FIFA World Cup. Amajita beat DR Congo in the quarterfinals of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Egypt to advance to the semi-finals.
We knew that it's not going to be an easy game because every country wanted to qualify for the World Cup. We told ourselves to say we are in the tournament and one of the main objectives was to qualify. So we used almost everything that we thought we have, technically, tactically, physically, and character.
And Orlando Pirates coach Jose Rivero will lead the club for the last time tonight when they host Golden Arrows at Orlando Stadium in the Betway Premiership. Rivero announced last month that he would be leaving the Buccaneers at the end of the season after 3 years in charge, but his departure comes a little sooner than expected. The club has granted him an early release from his contract amid reports that he'll be joining Egyptian giants Al Ahly. And that's all from us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.